Chapter 28. Tuesday was the last day of school before winter break. Usually it would have been a morning of excited anticipation, but I could barely drag myself out of bed. The coffeehouse remained closed. Malcolm didn't show up, nor did Irmgard. The pop of the toaster, the rhythm of Irmgard at the chopping block, the sound of Odin and Lars arguing, that was my soundtrack. But it had faded like an echo. "Oh, Katrina!" Mr. Prince waved at me from his office as I tried to sneak by. "We should discuss those aptitude results. Very promising, don't you think?" I shrugged, eyeing the Java Heaven cup he held. Honest to God, I wanted to rip it from his hand and stomp on it. "You should take those results seriously, Katrina. Think about going to business school. Maybe even pursuing an MBA. Get some business experience. Every entrepreneur needs business experience. Have you ever held a job? Do you know anyone who could write you a letter of recommendation? You could join the Future Business Leaders of America. Heidi Darling runs the group. Do you know her? Oh God, if I have to stand here one more second, I'm going to scream." He took a sip from the peppermint straw. "Have you tried the Vincent Mocha? It's delicious." I fled. In world mythology, I grabbed the empty chair next to Elliot. Mr. Williams sat at the edge of his desk like he always did. "Today we'll finish up our good deed chapter. Please open your books to the next section called The Damsel in Distress." I knew that Vincent was over by the window. I knew that the ends of his hair were dripping onto his sweatshirt and that he was chewing on his pencil. But I didn't look at him. "Who can give me an example of a damsel in distress in a fairy tale?" Mr. Williams asked. Brianna's hand shot up. "Sleeping Beauty." "Go on." "Well, she can't wake up until the prince kisses her. He has to hack his way through these vines to get to her." "Okay. Any other examples?" "Snow White," Ashley said. "She's dead in that glass coffin, but when the prince comes and kisses her, she wakes up." Mr. Williams nodded. "Thanks to Walt Disney, you're all familiar with damsels in distress. This theme is common throughout mythology. The female, traditionally viewed as the weaker of the sexes, and historically more vulnerable, is placed in some sort of jeopardy. Her survival depends on the heroic action of the male, usually a prince, but sometimes a man of lowly means who is rewarded for his good deed. Often the reward is a kiss, which in the larger context means sexual availability." Aaron puckered his lips and made some kissing sounds. "Where can I find a damsel in distress?" I stared at the chapter illustration of a girl looking out a window that was set high in a tower. Her long blonde hair framed her sad face. She leaned against the panes, watching, waiting for the prince to rescue her. I stared hard until my vision blurred and her face morphed into mine. Last night I had looked out my own window, waiting for Malcolm, hoping he'd show up with his magic bean to make everything right again. Waiting to be rescued. And wasn't that what I always expected from Vincent? Calling him whenever I needed something, relying on him to take me to the movies and go to places with me if Elizabeth couldn't go, to show up if I got scared because I found a stranger lying in my alley, to be the one person I could call any time of the day or night. Holy crap, I was just like that stupid girl in the tower. "Mr. Williams?" I raised my hand, interrupting his reading. "Yes? What about the stories where the damsel in distress saves herself?" "What?" "When she doesn't wait for the prince." He laid the textbook in his lap. "The damsel in distress doesn't save herself in these stories, Katrina. She can't save herself because a curse or a magic spell has imprisoned her. But maybe she can save herself if she tries," I blurted out. Everyone stared at me. I've got to go to the bathroom." I grabbed my backpack and rushed from the room. I was sick of feeling like a loser, like I couldn't do anything right. I was sick of feeling like everything I cared about was about to be taken away. I wasn't the swim team captain or president of the glee club. I was the coffeehouse girl, and I wasn't going to lose that without a fight. Grandma couldn't stop me because she wasn't home to stop me. If I knew exactly how much we owed and how much we had coming in, then I could make a plan. Maybe it was pure ignorance on my part, but somewhere deep inside, I felt that I could do it. "Get some business experience," Mr. Prince had said. "Every entrepreneur needs business experience. What better experience is there than saving a business?" But was there time? I hurried past the glass display of Heidi's successes. Good for her, I thought. She's not waiting in some tower. In the library, I went to business/technology aisle and found a book on how to be a successful entrepreneur, written by this really rich guy from New York. The bell rang for second period, but I stayed in the library. The author wrote that the most important thing to guarantee success is to select an excellent support team. I rushed to the office. "Miss Colbert? What class is Elliot in? Elliot Minor? I need to see him right away." Miss Colbert's fingers clicked on her keyboard. "Elliot Minor is in trigonometry, room 18. Waving like a crazy person outside room 18's glass window, I finally got Elliot's attention. He raised his hand, asked to be excused, then joined me in the hall. "What are you doing?" "Elliot, I need your help." I started pacing. "Do you really understand all that stuff about marketing surveys and small business loans?" "I think so." "Well, my grandmother's coffee house is going to go out of business, unless I do something right away. She owes a lot of money. I need someone who's good with numbers. We'd work together. I'll pay you just as soon as I can, if you'll teach me how to set it all up on the computer." "Why are you asking me?" "Because I'm supposed to get the best support team I can get, and I think you're the smartest kid in the school." He narrowed his eyes suspiciously. "And I'm going to get Elizabeth for the team, too." The corners of his mouth turned up in a little smile. "When do we begin?" Elizabeth wasn't in her biology class. I called her. "What's wrong? Are you sick?" "I've been in bed all day." "Why?" "I just feel so depressed. I hate feeling this way." "Is this because of Face?" "Yes. Isn't that pathetic?" "It's not pathetic. You got your feelings hurt. There's nothing pathetic about that." I leaned against the wall, pressing Elliot's cell phone to my ear. "Face is a moron. So what if he doesn't like you? It's his loss. Now get out of bed." "I'm watching this show on insects. Did you know that the praying mantis eats her boyfriend's head after they mate? I wonder what she does if he rejects her." Elizabeth, not to be messed with artist extraordinaire, had wrapped herself in a blanket of self-pity. Some stupid jerk who couldn't see past her weird clothes and pudgy face had reduced her to watching television in the middle of the day, which is a pretty bad sign. "Elizabeth, I know you feel crappy right now, but we both need to stop moping around. Face is history. Vincent is history. And the coffee house is going to be history if I don't do something. I need you to get out of bed, get dressed, and meet me down here." The crinkle of a plastic wrapper filled the earpiece. "Why?" she asked with a full mouth. "Because you're the most talented person I know. Because you have vision. Because you make everything interesting and beautiful. Because without you, this will never work." "Really?" she sniffled. "I need you." "Okay, I'll meet you there." Elliot and I left school in the Buick. I pretended to have a stomach ache. He forged a note for an allergy appointment. I shared all the coffeehouse details without shame or embarrassment. Grandma Anna would forgive me, because facing the truth was the only way forward. I turned onto Main Street. Last night's craft party at Java Heaven had produced hundreds of foam snowflakes. Shopkeepers had hung them in their windows and from their awnings. Ropes of snowflakes dangled across the street and wound around lampposts. We drove past Viking Square, where the blue spruce stood, decked out in snowflakes and lights. Magical. We passed Anna's Coffee House, the only shop on the street not decorated, unless you considered the closed by health department sign a festive addition. There was no time to worry about snowflakes. Elizabeth had parked in the back alley and was waiting for us. "What's he doing here?" she whispered when Elliot got out of the car. "You'll see." Inside, I turned on the heat and lights. Elliot gave Ratcatcher a good scratch while I started the coffee pot. We'd need lots and lots of caffeine. I made a platter of buttered toast, and while they ate, I described the plan that was bouncing around in my head. "We have 3 days before the Solstice Festival. I think there's money to be made from Ratcatcher's fame. I want to transform this place into the Ratcatcher Emporium. We've got my grandfather's retirement check and about $200 in my grandmother's checking account to work with, and a credit card in case we need it. I got some cash from tips. What do you think?" I held out my arms and waited for their reaction. They stopped crunching. "Is this okay with your grandmother?" Elizabeth asked. "She doesn't know about it yet. She'll still be in the hospital. And anyway, she decided to close down the coffee house, so I might as well use the space while I can." "Won't she get mad if you spend her money?" Elliot asked. "Probably, but it's our only chance. That money would only pay a few bills, and then we'd still be in debt and without a coffee house." Elizabeth leaned across the counter and whispered, "Why don't you just get you-know-who to give you the you-know-what? I don't need that third bean. I'm going to do this myself. Everyone still wants to see Ratcatcher. We can't compete with Java Heaven in the coffee market, so why not do something completely different? Elliot, I need you to work the financial end. Elizabeth, I need you to work the marketing end." "What about the health department?" Elizabeth asked. "I'm not serving food, so who cares about them?" "It's a risk," Elliot said, wiping crumbs from his mouth. "But every endeavor begins with risk." Elizabeth finally smiled. "The Ratcatcher Emporium. I love it." Elliot set his laptop in the office, and I brought my computer downstairs for Elizabeth. Elliot and I went through all the files and drawers. He created a spreadsheet that listed all the money we owed and current and future expenses. Elizabeth and I brainstormed products. We took a photo of Ratcatcher, then emailed it to a company that pasted it onto coffee mugs, sticky notes, and cookie tins. We paid for next day shipping. Elizabeth created a cute logo of Ratcatcher's smiling face and set up a simple website, then sent it off to her blogger friends. She contacted the Nordby News and some local radio stations. I answered the messages and then left a message on the phone letting callers know that the Ratcatcher Emporium would officially open on Friday for the Solstice Festival. Evening came. I called the hospital. Grandma said she'd had way too many visitors and not to worry about stopping by. She hadn't seen Irmgard and was worried. I called Irmgard's apartment, but no one answered. I hadn't seen her since the encounter with Malcolm at the hospital. I kept expecting each of them to show up. While I would have welcomed Irmgard's help, it was probably best not to have Malcolm hanging around, clogging up my brain with all those feelings. "This is going to be an all-nighter," Elliot said. He called his parents. His dad dropped by with a bathrobe and sleeping bag and a bunch of packaged snacks, because Elliot had this low blood sugar thing. Elizabeth's mom brought us a chicken and rice casserole, which was great. I felt energized, and it wasn't from the caffeine. Something powerful surged through my veins. Was it confidence? Do confident people walk around feeling like that all the time? Like everything will work out? What a great feeling. "You know what's missing?" Elizabeth said, drinking her third cup of coffee. I shook my head. My answer would have been Vincent, but I didn't say that. While Elizabeth, Elliot, and I made a great team, it wasn't the original three. Vincent didn't know anything about spreadsheets or marketing, but it would have been nice to have him there. He could have passed out flyers in his calm, friendly way. I should have waved to him when he looked up from his bike. I should have run out there and hugged him and said, "It doesn't matter. You broke a promise, and I acted like a jealous, insecure idiot, and we both said mean things. Let's just forget it and move on." "I'll tell you what's missing. The stupid rat is what's missing," Elizabeth said. "Huh? We need to get that rat back." She pushed her chair away from the desk. "Why did they take it anyway? Seems like it belonged to you. It was in your shop." "You're right," I said, suddenly indignant. "Why did they have to take it? People want to see that rat. I need to get it back." Then I remembered. "But it smelled disgusting." "You can get the rat stuff," Elliot said. He was stretched out on his sleeping bag, plugging numbers into his laptop. "My dad went hunting last year and had this client of his clean and stuff the deer he shot." "That's a great idea." I remembered this place in Seattle called Ye Old Curiosity Shop, full of all sorts of weird stuffed dead things. People love those stuffed dead things. I imagined tourists posing with the massive rodent. "That's a really great idea." "My dad's an attorney," Elliot said. "I'll call him. I bet he can get the rat back." We worked through the night, drifting off around 3 a.m. I fell asleep on the desk. Elizabeth curled next to Elliot, which didn't surprise me. They'd been working together all day, sharing snacks and talking about art classes. They both snored, but it only woke me up twice. Ratcatcher, completely unaware that she was the center of our universe, gnawed her way through one of Elliot's animal cracker boxes. I wished I had someone to curl up next to. Someone warm. The phone woke me up. Expecting another fan call, I didn't answer it. "Katrina?" The answering machine speaker muffled Officer Larson's voice. "I got a young man down here at the station who says he's a friend of yours. Picked him up for trespassing. I can't locate his family and he's refused to make his one phone call. Thought you might be able to clear this up. Says he works as a messenger."